Welcome to episode number 316, where I'm talking about hair health. I get a lot of questions in my online consultations about scalp problems, thinning hair, hair loss, graying, and so on. So today I talk about the root of these issues along with some great Ayurvedic herbs to help with hair health. So please stay tuned. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. Hello and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. It's Colette with a solo episode today. And today I'm talking about healthy hair in this episode, as this subject comes up very often in my online consultations, especially with the subject of thinning hair and hair loss and scalp concerns as well. Now, Ayurveda considers hair loss to be a subtle metabolic disorder, which is a disorder that negatively alters the body's processing and distribution of macronutrients. To get to the root of this metabolic disorder, we need to look at the digestive system, as the health of our hair is determined by the food we eat and how we digest and assimilate that food. Of course, the holistic health of the client is taken into consideration, as our physical, mental, and emotional health can affect the health of our hair. Now, in a consultation, I'm looking at the status of the Agni, the digestive fire, and if there's any ama or toxin accumulation in the body, and the health of the tissues or the dhatus, as the proper nourishment of each of the 7 tissues of the body is essential for our health and well-being. And in the case of hair health, we want to look at all the tissues, but in particular, I'm looking at Meda Dhatu, our fat tissue, as sweat is the mala or waste product of the Meda Dhatu, and sweat strengthens the hair roots. Meda Dhatu nourishes Asthi Dhatu, our bone tissue, which is the next dhatu we need to take into consideration. Hair is the mala or waste product of the Asthi Dhatu, our bone tissue. Therefore, if Asthi Dhatu is not receiving adequate nourishment from Meda Dhatu, the fat tissue, then the mala or waste product, the hair, will be affected also. Asthi Dhatu then nourishes Maja Dhatu. Now, Maja Dhatu, our nerve tissue, has an effect on the health of our hair, as our nerve tissue is our communication tissue, regulating and controlling the functions of the brain and nervous tissue, overseeing the physical attributes, strength, bone nourishment, and how we respond when we're emotional and stressed is governed by the nervous system. Stress can affect the quality of our hair, as stress negatively impacts Asthi and Maja Dhatu, our bone and nerve tissue. Maja Dhatu nourishes Shukra Dhatu, our reproductive tissue. And if the Agni of Shukra Dhatu, our reproductive tissue, is aggravated, it can result in hormonal imbalances and hair loss. So in this snapshot of the tissues related to hair health, you can see the importance of how we digest and assimilate our food. If you want more detail on the nutrition of the dhatus, I discussed this in detail in episode number 92. Now, we also need to take into consideration the status of the doshas, as they can also affect the quality of the hair. Here are some examples of how an aggravation of the doshas affects the hair. For example, excess vata can result in a dry scalp and dry hair that's brittle with split ends. It can also cause a thinning of the hair and hair fall. Excess pitta dosha can cause inflammation of the hair follicles, causing hair fall, early graying, and baldness. Excess kapha can result in excess oiliness on the scalp and hair, overproduction of sebum leading to an oily, scaly scalp, which can be itchy also. So let's take a look at just some Ayurvedic herbs that are beneficial for the hair. And the herbs I'm going to focus on today are Amalaki, Bhringaraja, Bibhitaki, Brahmi, and Jatamamsi. Now, these herbs have various amazing benefits, but today I'm just focusing on the benefits for the hair. So starting with Amalaki. Amalaki, also known as Amla, means sour and is the Sanskrit name for the Indian gooseberry tree, which bears gooseberry-like fruit. Amalaki is also known as Datri, which means mother or nurse, hinting to the healing properties of Amalaki. So let's take a look at the energetics of Amalaki. The rasa or taste is primarily sour, bitter, and astringent, and the secondary tastes are pungent and sweet. Therefore, Amalaki contains 6 of the 7 tastes, with salt being the only one missing. This makes Amalaki very special as all these tastes combined imparts a holistic balancing effect on the doshas. The virya or energy is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect of Amalaki is sweet, and the gunas or qualities are light and dry. The effect on the doshas, well, Amalaki is tridoshic, relieving vata with its sour taste and pacifying kapha with its astringent taste and dry guna or quality. And yes, even with its sour taste, it's pitta pacifying, which is a rare exception. It's able to stimulate the agni or digestive fire without aggravating pitta, as it's energetically cooling with a sweet post-digestive effect. And the effect on the dhatus or tissues, well, it affects all tissues, especially the blood tissue or rakta dhatu and the muscle tissue or mamsa dhatu. And it has an affinity with the following channels: the circulatory channel or rakta vahashrotas, the digestive channel, anavahashrotas, and the elimination channel, parisha vahashrotas. Amalaki is very beneficial for metabolic disorders, and as I mentioned earlier, Ayurveda considers hair loss to be a subtle metabolic disorder. With its cooling, pitta pacifying properties, it pacifies the pitta burning of hair roots, making it great for reducing hair loss and for reducing early graying. Amalaki is the main ingredient in Chyavanprash, the rejuvenating jam used in Ayurveda, due to its rejuvenative and ojas-enhancing properties, building the immune system's reserves of the body. And Amalaki's prabhava, or special effect, is that it's a sattvic tonic for the body, raising overall well-being. Okay, so that's Amalaki. The next one I'm going to look at is Bhringaraja. Bhringaraja is also known as the false daisy and is a creeping herb which belongs to the sunflower family. It can have yellow, white, and blue flowers, and the white flowers are most commonly used. It's a classic Ayurvedic hair tonic and often translated as king of the hair. So let's take a look at the energetics of Bhringaraja. The rasa or taste is bitter, pungent, and sweet. The virya or energy is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect is pungent. The gunas or qualities are dry and light. The effect on the doshas, well, it's tridoshic, but mainly pitta and vata pacifying. And it's a pitta rasayana, meaning it's rejuvenating for pitta dosha. The effect on the dhatus or tissues, well, it affects the plasma tissue or rasa dhatu, the blood, rakta dhatu, the bone, ashti dhatu, the nerve tissue, majal dhatu, and the reproductive tissue, shukra dhatu. And it has an affinity for the following channels: the circulatory channel, or rakta vahashrotas, the nervous channel, majal vahashrotas, the digestive channel, anavahashrotas, the respiratory channel, prana vahashrotas, the urinary channel, mutra vahashrotas, and the reproductive channel, shukra vahashrotas. Bhringaraja has an affinity for inflammatory conditions of the head and pitta aggravations of the scalp and hair. It's an anti-inflammatory which prevents inflammation of the hair follicles, which can lead to hair fall and baldness. It rejuvenates the Pitta dosha and Ashti Dhatu, the bone tissue. And as I said earlier, hair is the mala or waste product of the bone tissue. So its rejuvenating effect on Ashti Dhatu will also be rejuvenating for the hair. Bhringaraja helps to reduce excess of Vata dosha and restores the bone tissue. And remember that the Vata dosha has an inverse relationship with bone tissue. And so by pacifying Vata dosha, the bone tissue is also restored. Bhringaraja can be used for gray hair, dandruff, itchy scalp, infections on the scalp, hair fall, alopecia, and inflammation. This hair-nourishing herb can be used internally and externally. Bhringaraja oil and powder can be used to massage the scalp or as a hair pack. So Bhringaraja is truly very beneficial for the scalp and hair. Another great herb for the hair is Bibhitaki, which is also known as Bheda in Sanskrit, which means the one that keeps away from diseases. So let's take a look at the energetics of Bibhitaki. The rasa or taste, astringent and sweet. The virya or energy is heating. The vipak or post-digestive effect is sweet. The gunas or qualities are dry and light. And the effect on the dosha is what is tridoshic, but does aggravate vata in excess due to its astringent, dry, and light qualities. The effect on the dhatus or tissues, well, it affects plasma tissue or rasa dhatu, the muscle tissue or mamsa dhatu, the bone tissue, ashti dhatu, and the nerve tissue, maja dhatu. And it has an affinity for the following channels: the digestive channel or anavahashrotas, the respiratory channel, pranavahashrotas, the nervous channel, majavahashrotas, and the excretory channel, parishavahashrotas. Bibhitaki also has an affinity for the head and helps to maintain and improve hair growth by providing nourishment to the hair follicles with its rejuvenating properties. It's also useful in conditions of excess oil on the scalp. Now, it may sound familiar to you as it's one of the 3 fruits used to make triphala. And so too is Amalaki, the first herb I covered here. So this makes triphala a great supplement for hair health also. Okay, so let's check out Gatukola next, which is known as Mandukaparni. And the name has been derived from Sanskrit, which means the leaf that resembles the feet of a frog. And it grows alongside rivers. Let's take a look at the energetics of Gatukola. The rasa or taste is bitter, astringent, and sweet. The virya or energy is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect is sweet. The gunas or qualities are dry and light. And the effect on the doshas, well, it's tridoshic, but primarily pacifying for kapha and pitta. And the effect on the dhatus or tissues, well, it's beneficial for the plasma tissue or rasa dhatu, the blood or rakta dhatu, the muscle tissue, mamsa dhatu, the fat tissue, meda dhatu, the bone tissue, ashti dhatu, and the nerve tissue, maja dhatu. And it has an affinity with the following channels: the nervous channel, majavahashrotas, the circulatory channel, raktavahashrotas, and the digestive channel, anavahashrotas. Now, Gatukola's pitta-reducing effect makes it a great treatment for hair loss. It alleviates inflammatory skin conditions, which can affect the scalp. Gatukola's rejuvenating properties nourish the scalp, strengthens the hair follicles, and boosts hair regrowth. The final herb we're going to look at here is Jatamamsi, which means whose flesh is like a dreadlock. The Jatamamsi flowers are small, pink, and bell-shaped, but the roots resemble dreadlocks. So let's take a look at the energetics of Jatamamsi. The rasa or taste is astringent, bitter, and sweet. The virya or energy is cooling. The vipak or post-digestive effect is pungent. The gunas or qualities are light, unctuous, and penetrating. And its effect on the doshas, well, it's tridoshic, balancing for vata, pitta, and kapha. Its effect on the dhatus or tissues, well, it affects the blood tissue or rakta dhatu and the nerve tissue, maja dhatu. And it has an affinity for the following channels: the circulatory channel, or rakta vahashrotas, the digestive channel, ana vahashrotas, the nervous channel, maja vahashrotas, the respiratory channel, prana vahashrotas, and the reproductive channel, shukra vahashrotas. Now, Jatamamsi prevents gray hair loss, and promotes hair growth. The oil can be used as a hair and scalp tonic, managing scalp infections, itching, and reducing hair fall due to its antifungal and antioxidant properties. The roots of Jatamamsi can be converted into a paste and applied to the scalp to promote hair growth. Jatamamsi powder can be mixed with coconut oil and applied to the hair as a moisturizer. So there you go, some really great Ayurvedic herbs for healthy hair. And as I stated at the beginning of this episode, just like the skin, hair health is an inside job. And if you're having any issues with your scalp or hair health, you need to look at the root of the condition in order to stop it completely. And if you want support, don't hesitate to contact me. I offer online consultations, cleanses, educational programs, and holiday gift vouchers. Also, my next discounted group cleanse is starting February 2nd, 2024. And this is a great way just to reset your body and mind after the holiday season and start 2024 taking care of your health and well-being. And this reset, of course, is going to be great for your overall health, including your skin and hair health. And this could be a great gift for yourself, or maybe hint to someone that you want the gift of health this holiday season. Just saying. You can check out this information in the show notes or visit my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com. And if you have any questions before you book any of my services, take advantage of my free 15-minute online services inquiry call. We can hop on Zoom and I can answer all of your questions. So there you go. This is a topic I've been wanting to cover. As I said, hair health comes up a lot in my online consultation. So I hope this episode is helpful for you in understanding what to look at when you're managing your hair health and some herbs to support you. Of course, I always recommend getting professional advice before taking any herbs, as you want to make sure you're taking the right herbs for you, for your individual constitution, and directions as to how to take the herbs is important as well. So please get some professional advice before taking any herbs. Okay, that's it for today. If you think that this episode will be helpful for others, please share it with them so we can spread this wisdom of Ayurveda and all the great Ayurvedic herbs. And if you haven't already subscribed or followed the podcast, please do so the new episodes can automatically download for you. And if you're finding this podcast beneficial, please leave a rating or review wherever you listen to your podcast. That would be really helpful, and we can get this information out to more people. You can follow me on social media under Elements Healing and Wellbeing on Facebook, and my new Instagram page is the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.